Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and my page. So, I was inspired to this video topic why black people find it difficult to compliment each other just by my observation on social media and just in life, period. Like, this is something that's not new. And it's something that has been brought up many times within the black community on why it's just so difficult for black people to just compliment each other. Like if you see another brother or sister doing well, give them a compliment. But it seems like it's just the hardest thing for black people to do. So I want to talk about that very briefly in this video. Now I've seen it on social media where, someone may post something, it can be an accomplishment, something that they achieved, right? And you'll have people will just scroll right by it. It's like they don't see it. Now, people see it because a lot of times people will say something about it in person, but they won't hit the like button. It's like hitting that like button is so difficult for them. Or even making a comment saying, I like what you shared. Congratulations. It's like it eats black people alive just to make positive compliments towards each other. What is that? What is it about? What is so difficult for black people to do that? Why is that so difficult? Why is it so difficult when you see someone doing well on social media just to say, oh, that's what's up, or congratulations? Now, it's not to say all black people, because I do actually have established a platform on social media called Ubawa. It's a nonprofit organization geared towards promoting self-published authors who usually don't get the recognition that they deserve. And for the most part, like, I've created a platform where we actually support each other. That's what the whole platform is about. So when you go, if you visit, take the time to visit our page on Facebook at facebook.com/urbanauthors, Ubawa. Spell UBAWA. Hi, how are you doing, Mr. Playwright? What's your name? Amonte? Yeah, so it's like I've established this platform. It's an environment, like it's a way of life where we actually don't have a problem giving each other props, and right now we're in the middle of collecting names for Ubawa's top 100 authors of 2018. So where authors and readers get to nominate other authors who they think deserve recognition for the entire year, who they think that did outstanding work for the entire year. You can go to our page and drop their name on one of the posts. I'm pretty good. How are you? And you'll see on those posts, like there are like hundreds to over 1,000 names on that post. So yes, I've created an atmosphere, an environment where authors feel safe enough to be able to shout out each other and to give props to where props is due on Ubawa. But that's a certain setting and that's a certain place. And I realize that it's not like that across different places on social media. Like it's just something about giving people acknowledgement, or giving them a positive compliment. Now, I'm in the middle of writing my dissertation, lit review, and part of my dissertation, I'm talking about slavery, the beginnings, of African American history in America. And one of the sources that I'm referencing is Dr. Joy DeGruy, her book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And she talks about how her theory on why she believes it's difficult for black mothers or even fathers, parents in general, to provide positive encouragement or support, like acknowledging positive traits in their children. And she links it back to slavery, saying how the slave mothers did that to protect their daughters from being sold or being raped. So it made sense historically in that context. And she's saying that they've learned that, they've internalized those things and passed them down intergenerationally from one generation to the next. So that's why you still see black mothers and black fathers speaking negatively about their children, saying they're not going to amount to nothing, that they not anything, they ain't shit. Basically, she's saying back then it served as a protective mechanism to protect their children from being sold into slavery or, resold into slavery from one slave master to the next, or even being raped, and with reference to the daughters. So it kind of makes sense, okay? Because, I mean, if back then a beautiful, strong, slave child was seen as a commodity, it's seen as something that, okay, is has high value to be resold or to be bought, then it makes sense why a black slave mother would say, no, she's shiftless, she ain't nothing, you don't want her, to protect her daughter. And it's amazing how those things, like those habits, those behaviors, can be internalized and passed down from one generation to the next. But we're living in 2018, and you can still see some effects of slavery. And I'm wondering, maybe that could have something to do with why it's difficult for us to just provide compliments towards each other, or even accept a compliment from another black person. It's almost like it's a crime. And I've seen this even professionally, where I've had like supervisor who find it difficult to just give positive feedback. It's so much easier for the supervisor to point out what I'm doing wrong or things that, she doesn't like. But when it comes to providing positive feedback, pointing out things that I'm doing well, which I know that I'm not doing everything wrong. I know there's some things I'm doing well, but even when some things that she has identified that I have done well, it's almost as if it has been difficult for her to do that. This was a previous supervisor that I had, and I'm wondering, like, what is that about? Why is it so difficult for black people just to provide positive things? But then you'll see, for example, the same supervisor, when it comes to a white subordinate, it's easy for them to provide positive compliments, to provide compliments and positive feedback on that person's performance. But when it comes to the black person, it's almost like you're pulling teeth. It's like, it's just so difficult. It pains them almost to say something positive, almost as if it's a threat to who they are. It's a threat to, I don't know, their power, their security as a supervisor. Like, I don't get it. But when it comes to the negative things, it's like, oh yeah, you do this wrong, you do that wrong, you do that wrong. It's so easy. It comes out like water. But when it says, okay, what am I doing right? It's like, I don't know if it's a power thing or what. Like, sometimes people feel that they're threatened by the younger generation, so they don't want to say, I don't know. They don't want to give them that power, because if they give them this positive feedback, then that person is going to internalize it and boost their head up, like they're going to take it to their head and, I don't know, feel like they have more power to do whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it. That's why I'm like, it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I just find it interesting, and it's sad. And it's not just black people to black people, it's white people to black people that find it difficult to provide positive words, of a black person. It's like, we can't be, no one is all bad, right? So why is it so difficult for a person to see positive things in a black person? Well, I'm complimenting you. You are very attractive. Thanks, Amonte. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just something that just came across my mind, and I see it, I think, a lot on social media, because I'm on social media a lot. And I'm just like, just say that the person is beautiful. Just say that you like their work. Just say that you want to read their book. Like, why is it so difficult for us to support each other, for us to share each other's work? That's the reason why I created Ubawa back in 2009, 2010, around that time. Because for me, it's easy for me to acknowledge something that's positive in another person and be like, hey, I like what you're doing, big ups. Like, I love giving support. Like, that comes natural to me. So with me creating this platform, Ubawa, like, that's right up my alley. I find it very, very easy to point out the positive in a person. That's what I see. Like, I think I have a positive bias, and I even said this before when I did a video on 5 characteristics of an effective psychologist, is that I am more of a positive psychologist. Not that I can't see the bad and be able to assess symptoms and diagnose a person clinically, but like, I look for the positive traits in a person. I understand there's a lot of that going on. Yeah, it is. It's just, I don't know, it's jealousy. I think jealousy could be the underlying reason why jealousy, in terms of the present context in which we live in today. But I'm like, come on. I try to be the example for other people, even authors online. You know, like, I don't mind doing it. I don't see myself as like, I'm all up here, so I can't, you know, reach out to another author and say, you know, your book looks interesting, or I like your book cover, you know, or it can be something related to their personal life, you know, I like your hair, you know, or nice photo, you know, like, why is that so difficult to do? I think that it's something that we should start to try a little bit more often. Just put it into practice, you know. And I think when you feel confident in who you are, and you're secure in who you are, it'll be much easier to provide compliments to other people. But when you're insecure, I don't know, it's just like you feel so insecure in yourself, so it makes it that much more difficult for you to say something positive about the next person. I want to hear from you guys. Like, feel free to leave your comments below and share, what do you think? Why is it so difficult for people to compliment the next person, specifically within the Black community? Because it's sad. It's like we will go spread gossip very easily. You know, and I'm sure it happens in every culture and all, you know, different societies and communities, you know. I talk about the Black community a lot because that's what I'm very passionate about. But I'm sure it happens in white culture too, you know, where white people, they just look for the negative, you know, in a person. And they focus on that. And it's all about gossip. You just gossip driven, you know. That's why it's like gossip spreads faster than positive news. A person can put out a positive story on social media and say, I don't know, I just bought a new house, or I just got this promotion. And not to say it's not going to get reactions. Of course it's going to get a lot of reaction. But if a person put out something negative, I'm talking about terribly bad, that is going to get more attention than the positive. And there's a lot of theories that try to explain why do we have this negative bias within us as human beings. And just irrespective of race, we just have this negative bias where we focus on the negative. And I think one theory links to our amygdala in our brain and the way our brain works, you know, because it's a matter of protecting ourselves and a matter of safety. So we tend to, I guess, exaggerate those things that speak to our security and our survival, I guess, which would include drama or gossip, you know, and the bad things that happen in our lives, as opposed to, we link to that more than the positive things. It's like the positive things, when you hear positive, it's like, okay, it's positive, nothing to worry about. But if it's something negative or bad, it's just like, okay, you gotta hone in on that, you know, you key in on that. So I guess that could be a possible explanation, but it's just, to me, I think it's a concern. It's a huge issue. We need to just do more of it. Just practice it more. Practice giving each other positive compliments. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. In fact, I'm actually going to come back, like right after I click finish on this video, I'm going to come right back and do another video, totally different. It's going to be on a topic called archetypal energy. It's a topic that I am very fascinated with, and we just covered it in my group therapy class in my PhD program. So if you're interested in learning about archetypal energy as it relates to different types of goddesses, and if you wanted to know which goddess that I closely identify with, actually it's two that I closely identify with, then stay tuned and come back in the next video, and I'll catch you guys in a few minutes. Bye.